gentle goodbyes. He had been at the shelter longer than any other dog. 4 years, 3 months by the time I met him. His name was Gus, an old Labrador mix with a gray muzzle and cloudy eyes, the kind of dog people walk past without really seeing. Not because there was anything wrong with him, just because shelters are full of puppies with big eyes and wagging tails. And somehow, an old dog in the back kennel becomes invisible. I wasn't looking for a dog that day. I was looking for a reason to leave my apartment, if I'm honest. It had been a hard year, the kind where getting out of bed felt like a decision you had to make on purpose. And someone had told me that shelters let you just come and walk the dogs. No commitment, no paperwork, just an hour of fresh air and a leash in your hand. I walked past kennel after kennel of dogs jumping at the gate, barking, begging to be picked. And then there was Gus, sitting quietly in the back corner of his kennel, not even looking up when I passed, like he'd stopped expecting anyone to. I asked the volunteer about him. She told me he'd come in as a stray, elderly even then, and every family who'd looked at him had ended up choosing a younger dog instead. She said it so matter-of-factly, like she'd made peace with it a long time ago. But something in the way she said his name told me she hadn't. Not really. I asked to walk him. He didn't pull on the leash, didn't strain toward every smell like the younger dogs. He just walked beside me, slow and steady, like he already knew how to keep pace with someone who wasn't in a hurry to get anywhere either. Halfway through the walk, he stopped, sat down in a patch of sun on the sidewalk, and looked up at me. Just looked. I sat down next to him on the curb, and we stayed there for a while, not doing anything, just being two tired things sitting in the sun together. I want to tell you I adopted him on the spot, but I didn't. I went home. I told myself I wasn't ready for a dog, especially an old one, especially one who might only have a year or two left in him. What if I got attached and then had to say goodbye almost right away? It felt like setting myself up for a hurt I wasn't sure I could handle on top of everything else. I thought about him for 3 days straight. On the 4th day, I went back. The volunteer recognized me before I even said anything. She just smiled and said, "He's still here." I signed the papers that afternoon. The first few weeks were an adjustment for both of us. Gus didn't know what to do with a couch. He'd stand next to it, confused, like it was a piece of furniture he wasn't allowed to touch. It took him almost 2 weeks before he worked up the courage to climb up and lie down next to me. And when he finally did, he let out this long breath, like he'd been holding it for 4 years. He was quiet, mostly. Not sad, just quiet, in the way that older dogs often are. But every evening, at almost exactly the same time, he'd walk over, rest, his graying head on my knee, and just stay there, not asking for anything, just choosing to be close. I realized, somewhere in those first few months, that I hadn't just given Gus a home. He'd given me a reason to keep showing up for my own life. The walks got me outside on the days I didn't want to see anyone. Feeding him on a schedule meant I had to keep a schedule too. Somewhere between refilling his water bowl and learning the specific way, he liked to be scratched behind the left ear. I started remembering how to take care of things again, including myself. The vet guessed he was around 10 or 11 when I adopted him. Old for a Labrador mix, but not at the end of his story. Not yet. We got 3 years together. 3 years of slow morning walks, and him falling asleep with his head on my feet while I worked. 3 years of him meeting every new person in my life with the same calm, unimpressed dignity, like he'd already decided nothing much surprised him anymore. People sometimes ask if it was hard, loving. A dog I knew wouldn't have that many years left when I got him. And the honest answer is, I think about it differently now. Every dog leaves us too soon. No matter how old or young they are when we get them, the only real choice we have is whether we let that fact stop us from loving them anyway. Gus taught me that the years you have left aren't a reason to hold back. They're the whole point. He's gone now too, but that's not really what this story is about. This one is about the 4 years he spent waiting in the back of a kennel, quietly giving up on being chosen. And about how one ordinary Tuesday, an old dog and a tired person walked past each other, and neither of us kept walking. If there's a Gus at your local shelter, the older dog nobody stops for, the one who stopped expecting anyone to, I hope you know what he could still give you. Sometimes the ones who wait longest have the most left to give. Thank you for listening. See you in the next story.